Parts of the southern United States are being pummeled by a major winter storm. This footage from suburban Dallas shows what looks like a winter wonderland in an area that is simply not used to this type of snow. The storm stretching from Arkansas to Virginia with some of the worst conditions in the Tennessee area. CBS News correspondent Nicole Valdes joins us now from Nashville for more on the winter weather that is sweeping across the South. So, Nicole, Nashville isn't usually as snowy as you appear to be at the moment. Talk to us about the situation on the ground.
Hey, Lana. Yeah, several inches of snow on the ground is quite an unusual sight for Music City, and it's why we've seen so much really emphasis on messaging and safety several days out from this storm. What we're talking about right now is at least 3, maybe 4 inches of snow on the ground, and there's still so much more expected to fall as this storm really won't stop until maybe sometime Saturday morning. The truck beside me gives you a bit of a glimpse of what we've seen so far, but by the end of this, we could be talking 7 to 8 inches of snowfall, and it's falling fast, about an inch an hour. So that definitely creates quite the possibility of a lot of problems, because truthfully, this is a region that is not accustomed to navigating travel in this kind of weather conditions. So you've got issues on the freeways. We're talking areas like the I-24 and I-42, very busy freeways that pass through the city of Nashville that have seen several crashes, and some areas are shut down. We've also got hundreds of flights canceled coming to and from Nashville International Airport because of the conditions that we're seeing play out here.
And Nicole, I'm joined by our CBS News meteorologist here in the studio. We're going to talk in just a second. But John and I are both responding to what we're seeing there. Talk to us about the preparations the city has in place to try and handle this level of precipitation. I mean, when you're talking 6 to 8 inches, does it actually have the infrastructure to deal with that amount of snowfall?
Yeah, I think really state and city leaders do a lot of preparation before the storm starts to try to prevent the amount of problems that can come into play here, which really, again, is focused in on travel, the domino effect that is. So they do a lot of pre-treating of roads. They use brine, they use salt. They got salt trucks, about 300 or so, that go out to all the major freeways and try to prep them beforehand. And once the storm starts, what then happens is they've got their 40 or so snow plows throughout the metro Nashville area that are trying to clear roads as that snow falls. But you're right, this is an infrastructure situation that is not necessarily comparable to states further north of us. So this is a challenge every time we get a significant snowfall like what we're seeing now.
All right, Nicole Valdes, thank you. Stay warm. All right, Climate Watch now. And new data on global temperatures reveals 2024 was the warmest year ever. A new study released today shows global temperatures were more than 2 degrees higher than the 20th century baselines. And it follows 15 straight months of record-setting temperatures. That's all according to the space agency NASA and the National Atmospheric and Oceanic Administration, better known as NOAA. And it also marks the planet's warmest year in almost 175 years of record keeping. And joining us live in studio to discuss how all of these increases in temperature are just screwing with our weather, CBS News New York meteorologist John Elliott. Hey, John.
Nashville. It's snowing in Nashville. You got to go up the hill into Chattanooga with more hills and more snow. We're going to have ice in South Carolina, and we're talking about global warming. I know it turns a lot of people off, but when you look at the numbers, the average in fact, we have a graph. The average, it's just a little bit on the graph, but the impact with these amplified waves, that's why we're seeing...
And it puts everything out of whack then.
Absolutely.
So exactly how hot was 2024?
Hottest ever. 2 Fahrenheit versus Celsius. Again, we're using Celsius on the map. It's 2.3 for U.S., 2.7 globally, and it's the first time Europe and the States have had the hottest ever since 1998. And now this is a new hottest ever.
And what are the impacts of these, what seem like minuscule changes, right? 2 degrees doesn't seem like it's anything that you could feel, but it has all of these major impacts and all these headlines we're talking about wrapped into it.
I'm so glad you brought that up because, we get lost in the statistics. How about this? 27 $1 billion storm events. 27
There
at
it
a
is.
billion. But now let's talk about specific storm events. Helene, Milton, Helene, not only the storm event, but also the billions of dollars and also the loss of life. In Florida, yes, more in North Carolina. And then right after that, you had Milton. Another thing we're noticing is the closeness together of event. 2024, the shortest time period between billion-dollar event ever, meaning these major storms are happening more often and they're happening closer together. Circling back to infrastructure, circling back to the fires. How do you get the crews and resources to clean up and rebuild when you've got another storm on the way? Before I know I've messed with everybody's time here, I just want to take this on. It was
You and I are just talking, and hopefully our audience is enjoying it.
So it was the fourth most expensive in dollars. It was the eighth deadliest. Now there's some wisdom there. Communication is getting better. We're informing people better, but the costs are going to continue to skyrocket.
And that has an implication not just on the relief and rebuilding efforts that go into all this, but also insurance prices for homeowners.
Absolutely. Yeah.
All right, John Elliott, always good when you stop by the studio. Thanks.